put himself to work. He faced obstacles, crises, natural disasters, and he kept on, and they are helped. So it's the mindset of the human beings that have converged in this part of creation that actually leading us not to create wealth, where everything is seen as a problem instead of an opportunity for you to go within yourself and recreate and discover that we have not done. And the moment you know yourself, the moment you become aware of who you are not geologist, you are not accountant, you are not, those are just things you acquired here. That can be you. You are not that. Those are skills and proficiencies. That's not who you are. Who you are is woven inside you as you came into this world as a gift. It's a gift. Soccer players, they don't discover their gift. They didn't go to any school to learn how to play soccer. It's just a gift. Some will even play on the streets, like Okucha said, JJ, that I play on the street, and today I'm getting paid for what I love to do. So imagine that you're able to find something that is your gift. Then it's just natural for you. You will just do it, and you'll be successful. The challenge we find ourselves is that through the school system that encourage everything to be uniform, if you are not reading like that person, beat that child very well, you must read like. So you now create uniformity. And uniformity make mockery of everything. Just mockery of everything. So find who you are, your uniqueness, and that's one thing you can sell. If you fly internationally at Amsterdam Airport, you will see very big billboard. Very big. You can't miss it. When I travel, I'm in the habit of taking my note and looking at all those simple words. To me, they are codes. Some masters left it there as a code. For those who can say, when you're entering the plane, by the side, you also see some little words. They won't preach it to you. They will just leave it as a code. In Amsterdam, you see, globalization starts with local expertise. I wrote down my note. And I'm always thinking about it. What are these people? Globalization starts with local expertise. And the bandage fell from me, and I just saw the point. And my prayer is always praying to let the bandage fall. True. Who can speak Yoruba more than a Yoruba person? Who? Huh? So as a Yoruba person, when I travel to the US, I give lectures in Yoruba. I even carry drums along. And when I'm doing it, you have nationalities of other countries. It's exciting, it's fun. I become like I'm the president. Globalization starts with local expertise. Local expertise. So each person is given something that is his own. We just refuse to uncover it. That's the problem that I think most people in this country, especially use today. Through social media that have become copycats, we've basically lost who we are. As I'm speaking English to you, right? This is English language, right? Right? Good. If I'm speaking Yoruba, or I change to Ijebu, you probably think that I didn't go to any school. I'm going to speak it deep. I've found out where to speak it deep in the US. That I'll be like a professor. They will sit down, quiet, and listen. And then they will oblige me, whatever I ask for, they will oblige me because they are learning something. When people have nothing to learn from you, they can't bring goodness to you. What do you have to show others? What? So, that's the earth, abundant things. Then we're going to talk about nature. It's always polarity. Negative, positive. You go to chemistry, cations, anions. You go to physics, protons, electrons. And protons has 1,850 energy, more than electrons. proton is positive. In biology, male, female. So you can see the duality. That nature represents that duality in everything. What is positive? How does it come to man? If you watch any movie of early men, very early men, you see the male, the man will carry his bow and arrow, right? And go into the forest and fight a beast, kill an animal, sometimes it could be killed. And you will see his chest very wide. He brings this spoil home, cuts it, then the woman will take over, right? And that man that was fighting lion, will come home now with the wound and be crying when the woman is just, the man will be crying. So that's nature. That's the touch. That's the touch of a real woman. The impact a real woman can have on a man is to motivate that man, inspire him, give him strength. So women actually are the custodian of that energy. The custodian. Whereas the usage is on the man. But the custodian is in the woman has a custody. You see men when they are going to war. After the ceremony, the man will go back privately to his wife in the room and even kneel down and say, pray for me. Because the woman is going to mediate something to that man, that the man doesn't have it. Just as you can't drive a car without fuel in it, right? You can't. So you can call the woman the fuel that you put in the vehicle, in the car. Without the fuel, the vehicle will not move. That's exactly how nature represents duality in all things. You watch National Geographic, you can sit down, you make the same observations. You see the animals, they'll keep the mother and the babies safe, they will go and fight and bring things. It's represented in nature. Why is proton positive, given more energy than electrons? 1,150 times. If you hold a battery in your hand, you see the positive at the top, you see the negative behind. Is that accidental? If you change it, will light come? You won't have light. That's ordained. That's ordained. That's nature. It's ordained. One is not a weaker sex. No, there's nothing called that. But each is meant given certain attributes to fulfill specific roles. The issue of weaker sex should never come in. Should never come in. It's absurd if you say women are weaker sex because you're looking at the physical capability. No. Each is given things to complement. To complement. While the anions at the back and the cations at the front, you will see, if you go through chemistry, you will see that the actual supply of that strength is from behind. And that's why they will tell you behind every successful man, there's a woman. It can be the wife, it can be the mother, it can be the daughter, it can be the sister. But there will be a woman somewhere mediating strength. Mediating strength to that man. And boys, be nice to your mothers. Because if they pray for you genuinely, you will succeed. So that's nature. Because we need to understand where we are coming from. And then we need to see the confusion we have today that is causing all this crisis. Okay, because we're in a crisis. Everything is distorted. Nobody knows the road they're supposed to be doing, what they're supposed to be doing. Okay? And of course, what would that lead to? Poverty. So I'm hoping that today I'll be able to help you to the point that you yourself will be willing to break those seals and barriers that you put of your own free will inside you. If you're able to break those things, then you begin to experience something different. You will no longer see problems. Problems become opportunities with the same eyes, but the mindset has changed. And when you begin to see opportunities, of course, you will create wealth. I'm not going to tell you the government of this country owe you anything. I raise my hand. Government does not owe me one dime. And I've given my children all this training. No expecting anything. The name, my surname is Oduvison. It's not government. Even though some people in Delta bear government, but still it's not government. Know where you're from. No, government doesn't owe. Government is a fictitious entity. It does not really exist. If an act of aggression is waged on Nigeria by a superpower, there will be nothing called Nigeria. They will take it over. So then, which government owe you? But you have a parent, you have a father, you have a mother, you have a name you carry. And I think that's more real. So by the time you can take away this expectation something, because it's a very serious problem to be expecting something that does not directly connected with you. I don't know how to do it. Because then you will be feeling sorry for yourself all the time. You'll be feeling injustice has been done to you. You'll be feeling, all those mindsets is energy. Like it or not, everything radiates. Those who have taken physics, acoustic physics, classic physics, quantum physics, you will see that everything radiates. If I see you, if I see you, and I've never known you, I'll feel like I want to talk to somebody more than another person. And yet we've never met before. It's the radiation that comes out of you, the energy that comes out of you. It's like a magnet. It's like a magnet. You all experience it. You're driving, you miss your way, you want to ask somebody, you look at the person's face, whether he's smiling. Even when the person wants to offer help and it's not smiling, you say, don't worry. It's this energy thing. You want the person to go because it's in contrast to your energy. That's why going about with frowning face, angry face, goodness will just be bouncing off. But goodness doesn't like that. And here you'll be complaining that the Lord has not helped you, but they're sending people to you, but they can't get attracted to you. They can't even reach you. Because the aura, the energy you create around yourself is just pushing all those things away. And if you think Nigeria is worse, that's not true. That's not true. Evil and goodness is found everywhere on earth. I can take you to Houston. We can go to a place called Third World. You probably think you are in Ajegunle. If $1 fell from your hand, you will see people shooting to pick it. And it's in Houston. Or you go to Soho in London. So everywhere have its own good side, bad side. It's a day 24 hours light. It's a day 24 hours light, daylight. You have daylight and you have darkness. So that's evident to you that everywhere on earth, the two will exist. Otherwise, the Lord will have made daylight all true. So it is you that will make a choice of where you wish to be. It's simple. You are here because providence determined that this is where you should be at this time. And you all need to be thinking of yourself as a global resource person. As a global resource person, what can I do that I can express myself to the world in a positive light? You can also express in negative light, but I shun that. Express yourself in the positive light. Okay? And then, so you need to first know where you are coming from to gain clarity. I do not proceed on anything except I'm clarified. Because when I'm going on anything, the energy around me is clarified. And then help will come to you. Help will come. A man can come from China, just cross by, and is talking to you as if you've known for years. But most of the things we do, we're not happy doing them. You can't serve me food if you are not happy. You can't offer me water if you are not happy. I mean, I will have nothing against you, but I won't take anything from you. Because if you offer me water and you're not happy, I drink that water, I can start having running stomach. True, because the energy you put into it is what I'm drinking. I will politely decline. You are the master of yourself. Everywhere I go, at the airport, everywhere, you see Nigerians, they are kind of frowning face. And I'm saying, look, heaven will not fall. This thing has been there. It will pass over. It has been there before you were born. So instead of focusing and speaking all the time on things you don't like, which is what we do, and we are expecting some things we like, but we are not expressing them. And we are wondering why this is happening to me. I will use my mouth to speak what I like to be. Because you create. I'm not saying people will not be speaking things. If you send some message on WhatsApp and it's negative, I just delete it. I don't even engage you further. I will speak my mind, think about what I wish to do positively. And how it's going to be done is not for me. It's not for me. If it is clarified inside you and it's going to bring goodness to you and others, then how it's going to be done will manifest. You will come across somebody, just discussion. Something will happen. And that's the invisible power of the Almighty. It will bring that help. But often when I ask people, what do you want to do? They start from the complaining side. Or blaming everything side. I don't even know what to tell them because that's killing you. We are becoming a negatively charged society that if somebody is falling down now, everybody bring their phone and they start snapping. They won't ask whether the person has eaten. Everybody will start snapping. And we are easy to crucify because you are easy to make judgment. But if you face 1/10 of what that guy is facing, you may do worse. So instead of just judging, get closer to know that person. Find out what is making that person do this. Maybe it's something you can just easily do for that person. And without judgment, the person will leave that thing. But what do we do here? We just keep judging. And the Lord said, thou shalt not judge. So every time you judge somebody, 10 times of it is coming to you. So we'll see how you will stand. Next slide. So in today's world, you have to have the capacity and the capability to earn income. When you earn income and you know about investments, then you can create wealth. You cannot create any wealth if you don't have the capacity and the capability to attract income. But something unfortunate happened in the parenting style before I was born, due to my age, but it's not working anymore. And I cannot speak what is not working. I can't. My father, probably his own father, up to me, were told one thing. Go to school, get a good grade, get a job, and start your life. That's basically what is still being repeated today. I cannot say that anymore. I can't. Because everything physical on this earth have life expectancy. There's nothing that lives forever. So concept ideas also expires. Today, we eat with spoons and things, right? But maybe my grandfather or his own father, they eat with their hand, right? So should we still be promoting that you have to eat with your hand now? Or should we keep a horse because the vehicle may break down? When the vehicle breaks down, we'll take the horse. Is that what we should do? You see, things are changing. More so, we are facing what I'll call volcanic changes. If you load some antivirus software, every second is updating. Every second is updating. That is the rate of change now. It's exponential. The last 10 to 15 years, phenomena. So this type of model is wrong. This is poverty. It's poverty because when schools was like the only thing on earth, I'm going to tell you to be educated, not necessarily having a degree. I'm going to distinguish between the two, please. And I'm speaking what I believe in. Okay? When this was working, go and learn something, learn that. I didn't want this thing to be in colored. You can't get the PowerPoint. Why? It's not opening it. Okay? I didn't want this in color, but we'll see. It's saying it. Okay. So this worked. When Nigeria became... How many of you know the history of Nigeria? How many? Some history? Only one person? You see, the point is that we're all missing it. In this journey of life, you need to know where you're coming from. Only then can where you are going be very clear to you. Otherwise, you'll be an alien. Alien. And unfortunately, the system we have today, school, home, everything is becoming alien. You didn't just drop from the sky. I'm not saying accept the history. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be aware of what happened. Then you can now say, okay, this is where I'm going. It makes you to be very resolute in your goals. Nigeria was actually bought by the British for 850-something thousand pounds from the Niger Company. Niger Company. The British bought it. They paid for it. Nigeria didn't come to be because of striving for independence. It was bought by the British for 850,000 pounds. Okay? And the investment at that time was basically agriculture. Tobacco, groundnut, a lot of things going on. And so the British bought it, established protectorate here and there, and gave an education to the system that will allow locals to have some administrative positions. At that time, being educated is a privilege. I mean, my own father has to work for a year, save money, work with his father for a year, save money, go to school for a year, work for a year, go to school for a year, because his father didn't believe you should go and it's for lazy people. Okay? So the very few privileged people, they had administrative positions. Then 60s, 70s, early 80s, you get a degree, ministries are opening up, structures there, structure here, people need to fill it. There's a job for you. Okay? So that was a motivation to want to send anybody to school, because you could bring fortune to the family. I mean, you'll be respected, you earn more money without sweating really in the field. You can be in the office and be writing things and you get paid. And of course, those who steal too, they also steal with pen. So you make more money. That was motivation. For you to do anything very well, you have to ask yourself, what is motivating me? What is motivating me to want to do this? If there's no motivation, you'll be doing it, waking up doing it, but not really enjoy doing it. You are doing it because everybody is doing it, and you have no other option. Not because you are happy doing it. Okay? So, what I've given to my own children, from kindergarten is to give them motivation, to let them know, have a purpose for doing something, that my job is done. They will do the rest. If I tell you, if you do this, you do this, you do this, you produce this, there's a place I can show you, you can sell it. And I actually took you on that trip and you saw that. My job is done. In fact, you will go through all the trouble to get it done. That is missing today. There's no motivation for people to do things. And that's where parenting really needs to come. Because, again, government, I don't have any problem with government because we are not fighting. So, yeah, we are not fighting. So, they didn't bring me into this world. So, when we are yabbing them, I don't fight them because, especially in Nigeria, the job of government is to steal money. So, it's simple. That's what they do. So, why should I? That's their skill area. And that's their specialty. So, if it's not my specialty, go your own way. So, what do you do with your own 24 hours? So, motivation for doing something is important. And poverty can be a good motivator. If you don't believe you are suffering. Because that was what motivated me to this point. Yes. Comfort can kill you. Especially when you have been made to enjoy the life that you haven't worked for. I find it hard. Because parents, have suffered. My son, my daughter must not suffer like me, this and that. That's not actually prayer. That's not prayer. Because that suffering was what helped you to be very constructed, to be very purposeful. Now you are saying that suffering is not good for your own children. Unfortunately, they can't live on your money forever. You suffer if mentally you think you are suffering. You suffer if mentally you accept it as suffering, then you suffer. But if mentally you see it as schooling or testing your limits, then suffering doesn't exist. So for that, I'm very grateful to my father and to my mom. My father was a primary school teacher, earning started with about 80 naira, 100 naira, 120, 400 naira, blah, blah, blah. But when my mom died, my mom was almost spoiling me. My mom was almost, she really cared for me, I didn't realize that she was actually spoiling me. What does a child know? Every child will go through a point of easy part. It's normal. It's normal for human beings. And I will say this to mothers. Mothers, to be very careful. You do not know the children you have. You do not know the message or what the Almighty has ordained them to do here. You don't know. If you become an obstacle, genuinely, you are not really, but you can be taken out. The Lord can recall you so that that child will fulfill what is meant for. In 1980-81, I was we're using class 1 to class 5. I was in class 1 because, brilliant, okay? I'm always coming first. My mom couldn't read and write. She was a beautiful village girl, very hardworking, chocolate color, beautiful. Yes. But she couldn't read and write because my father married her in the village where he went to teach. And he found that damsel. But her interest in learning how to read and write was very commendable. As I got to primary 4, I started teaching her. I would use my notes. Mr. Giwa is a trader, this and that. I started teaching her. We became very friendly. But in the process, I get things that today, when I look back, she was doing it, my love, my this and that in 1981, for someone to be using a wristwatch of 7,000 naira to school, because I always come first. And that I get so many privileges. But when she was 29, she died. She died, and that's when my learning about life started. I'm saying that because how you see things is what will determine who you become. Suffering or testing your limits, it's up to you. It's a choice. We were 5, and really I didn't know how my dad managed. With 5, with 2 cousins, with this and that. All of us just parked there and he was feeding us. And today I just imagine, how did these people, they didn't complain. Today we are still complaining. How did they survive? But the first thing my father did was, none of you will go and live with anybody. We will plant our own food. We will grow our own food. My salary will be for rent and school uniform. Feeding, we will do. Not that we liked it, but he was the boss. So he talked to his friends. They gave us farmlands. Once you come back from school by 2, we will go to farm 3 hours every day. We planted everything we ate. Everything. Everything. We planted everything. I didn't know that it was setting me up to be a farmer later in life. I didn't know. So things you do when you are growing up, they become part of you. You do that today, they say, they are suffering. He didn't put us to live with anybody. We stayed together, and that has formed a strong bond between me and my siblings, between me and my cousins. We live, we stay together. That bond, that trust is there. And to succeed in life, you need to build a team. You need to have trust. You cannot succeed alone. You can't. So we went through that phase. When I got to OAU, I will have 200 naira for a semester. But I have plenty gari. Plenty. Because we produce it. I can take as much. In fact, you can take a sack because you make gari. So I'm always having gari. Thank you, sir. You don't need sugar. It's highly conk. So in my year 1, of course, 200 naira for a semester cannot really take you anywhere. Okay? So I'll just buy my notebooks. There used to be old booker. Eat laughing there. If I eat those things now, I'll just vomit and pass on. So you do 101, whatever combination. But at some point, those who had money, they will have squandered their money, and then they'll be hungry. I started negotiating with my gari. So the guy can't go home for money, right? He's blowing the money. And the little money with him cannot take him far. So people will start coming to my room, give them a cup of gari, and collect some money. You see, you learn bit by bit, piece by piece, everything to become a whole. Today, young people just think that things will just come to you straight like that. No. These are the things that makes you to become a man. I started negotiating that, okay, you have to have something in this world for something to come to you. If you cannot render any service to people, why would they remember you? Why? It's not sufficient to be a human being. What are you bringing to the table? I learned that. Then, walk through, finished. Mind what you say. Unfortunately today, the things we say is the leading cause of poverty. We rejoice by making some useless jokes, by talking all kind of things. If there's anything that doesn't disappear, it's words. The word you speak will remain hanging until you find fulfillment. The word you speak will be hanging until, because nature does not allow vacuum. It will find fulfillment, it will manifest. In fact, you are the creator of what happens to you. Because the law of the Almighty, the law of sowing and reaping, cannot permit otherwise. It cannot. So mind what you are sowing in your thoughts, in your words. You want to be successful, you want to do good things, and yet all the messages in your phone, all the phone call you get, everything conversation, they are negative. Nobody is hunching you, no witch or wizard, somebody chasing you. They don't have work. Nobody is chasing you. You are the one chasing yourself. You know that it's convenient if you can find somebody to blame. No, it's convenient. I don't want that. Because you will never get out of that hole. The more you can blame somebody, you can't get out of it. So nobody is witch-hunting anybody. If somebody is witch-hunting you, it means you are not strong enough from within you that the energy around you can be so positive that it will dispel all such things. And that's your problem. You need to grow inwardly strong. Then you won't have a prayer to be saying nobody's been hunting you. Because if you are strong from within, and the power of the Almighty is beaming through you, the person will just perish. If at all, they attempt such things. So don't let that occupy your thought, because what you speak, what you invoke will happen to you. All through my stay in geology, I will tell my colleagues, I'm going to work for ExxonMobil. Then Mobil. I'm going to work for Mobil. You even think that my dad is the director there. You would think, but I had an uncle that occasionally when I visit the bookshop house in Marina, going to the elevator, seeing people, something will say, Wasil, you can work here. Then I started believing that I actually was working there. So I started speaking it. I'm going to work in ExxonMobil. I'll just keep on saying it. I'm speaking to you what I have experienced. It's not just what I believe. What I've experimented with has become a conviction. What you speak is what will happen to you. It will happen to you. It will happen to you. So be mindful of what you project and speak of yourself. I work in ExxonMobil. I kept saying it. In fact, to the point that I so much believe it that you will think that I'm already working there. So when NYC want to post me, they send me to Abia. How can I work in Exxon now? Abia. But I still kept that thought. I still kept it. So one day in the camp, the camp director just came and said, "You, what did you study? You, what did you study?" Something told me inside me that this man is interviewing you. So speak to him in a way you understand what you have studied. Not in this cramming thing students do. So when he came and said, "Sir, you have traveled and you have seen rocks outside on the surface?" I said, "Yes. But this rock go beneath as well. Come from beneath up. The geology look at those exposures, and then geophysics, using physics, probe deeper." And that it was very clear to him. He then said, "What are you doing in my state? Where are you here?" I said, "Well, this is where I'm posted." He said, "Okay, where would we like to be?" I'm telling you, I cannot recognize that man today, but his name is Dr. Njamaizi. If I see him, I can't recognize, but that's his name. So where would we like to be? I said, well, Lagos or Port Harcourt. I'm asking you where. I said, Lagos. I will deploy you. Come, follow me. That's what happened. He just took me to his quarters, gave me the form to fill there, and said, I will deploy you because you understand what you're doing. In the personal day, I still couldn't believe I would get a deployment letter. But when they called my name, I couldn't say a prayer with my mouth. My heart was filled with gratitude that there's the power of the Almighty in everything that we do. This man offered that I stayed overnight in his quarters and go next day. The fear that maybe he may change his mind. I said, sir, let me because it looks too it looks too, it's like magic. I wasn't expecting it. Just like that. So I came to Lagos. I went to Secretariat. They posted me to Chevron. So, but I said Mobo. I went back. I said, no, I want to go to Mobo. They said, go and bring the letter. Somebody brought a letter. They said, I have to wait for 3 weeks. That the director goes. I said, I'll wait. Bottom line is that I was posted to ExxonMobil. What you speak will follow you. It will begin to follow you. Don't join this bad wagon of crazy social media. Social media is powerful, but use it to project goodness for yourself and those around you. Don't get involved with all these other ugly things because it has a way of coming around and you will not know the source. The things that affect you are not physical things. Next slide. Now, this came and disrupted everything. Changed the world. So the model of going to school, getting a degree, getting a job, wiped off. The internet wiped it off. And parents are still preaching the same model that their parents preached to them. See the problem of poverty? They are still preaching the same model that their own parents preached to them. When the reality, the game, has changed. By 2045, it may even happen 10 years earlier. In fact, it's likely going to happen 10 years earlier. One device, that's my phone. We have the brain power of 9 million people. It will have the cognitive capability. It's already happening today. We're going to play some videos. Are those videos ready? Okay. Go to introduction. Start playing those videos from number 1. You can use VLC.
How can we prepare our teenagers for the future when our education systems aren't keeping up with a fast-paced world? How can we prepare our teenagers? The big problem today in our world is that exponential technological change is rendering so many things.
Can you give some volume? Some more volume?
45% of jobs today will not exist 10 years from now. And it's crazier. According to Singularity University, between 2016 and 22, we're going to see as much technological change in the world as the entire 100 years between 1900 and 2000. Think about that. So the idea is this: stop asking your teenager, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you want to study? Those are dangerous questions. They are wrong questions. They get a teenager stuck on an idea of their future for a world that will no longer exist. When you ask that to a kid, they're going to say, well, I want to be a lawyer. Maybe I'm thinking about becoming a doctor. Maybe I want to be an engineer. Maybe I want to go into marketing. All of these careers, all of these jobs are changing because of robotics, because of artificial intelligence, because of advanced algorithms and emerging new technologies. These are changing at a rapid pace. Peter Van Mander said 10 years from now, you will not want a doctor operating on you. You're going to be operated on by robots. But it's not just technological change. It's also that so many jobs today are utter bullshit. They do not produce anything that's actually valuable or progressive the human race. They're jobs in large multinational food companies where your entire career is about picking up ways to come up with fancier names for sugar so you can put garbage into people's bodies, or to come up with ways to brand high fructose corn syrup as happiness in a red can. And America's MBA graduates take these jobs, seduced by the high salaries and the perks of these companies, and then forget that they are spending the rest of their lives putting out what is essentially a crap-tastic product to the human race. You do not want that happening to your teenager. So here's what you do want to ask your kid. Ask them not what do you want to be when you grow up, but how do you want to contribute to the world when you grow up? That question changes everything. When you ask a kid, how do you want to contribute to the world? You're not putting them down a narrow path. You're having them open up their mind to a whole field of possibilities and to a life that's about meaning and contribution. They're less likely to be seduced into a bullshit job selling more crap that we don't need. Now, I asked this question to my son Hayden when he was 7 years old. Back then in our city, there was an air pollution problem. And Hayden said, well, I want to contribute to clean air. And immediately this opens up a field of possibilities. I asked him, well, how would you like to do that? And he came up with ideas such as, well, I could go work for Tesla and work for an electric vehicle company. I could open up a car dealership selling electronic cars. I could become an engineer and work on clean air technology. All of these possibilities open up that no, it's not about becoming an electric car dealer or becoming an engineer. It's about solving the problem of clean air. When you ask these questions to your teenager, not the question of what do you want to be when you grow up, but how do you want to contribute to humanity? You help them get on the right path. You help them emerge into a life, into a career that's actually giving back to the human species. And those are the careers that give us the greatest amount of fulfillment. These are the people we need in the world today. So remember, you want to prepare your kids for the future? Ask them this one question. How are you planning on contributing to the human race?
Okay, play the next one.
Some parents make the mistake of pampering their children. They think they are loving the child, but they end up spoiling them. And if you are one of those parents, either you are already facing trouble because of it, or the trouble is coming, I assure you. What kind of trouble? You have probably made your child's life so comfortable that they now fight with you the moment you ask them to do something difficult or something they disagree with. You have given them so many privileges or luxuries that they can't adjust in tougher conditions outside the home. You have perhaps been saying yes to all their demands and now they can't accept a no. They get angry and throw tantrums every time you refuse to fulfill their wish. You have maybe given them so much that they don't even value any of it. In short, they are spoiled. Why do parents do it? There could be many reasons. You want them to have the life you never had. You don't have time to spend with them and thus you just shower them with toys, gifts and luxuries. Or maybe this is how you actually show your love. You don't know any better way. Or possibly you think your child will hate you if you say no to them and you want your child to love you, at least more than they love your spouse. Whatever the reason you might have for pampering your child, my recommendation to you is very simple. Don't do it. But of course it's not that simple. The problem is complex. You as a parent have a certain level of wealth and resources. What will you do with it if you're not going to let your children enjoy them? And where is the line? Like how much should you give? How much is too much? How much is too little? There is obviously no measurable or one-size-fits-all answer for this. As the cliche goes, it depends. But I'm going to give you a framework to think about this problem. Consider following points. First, try to predict and answer this question. When this child becomes an adult, would they be able to sustain the current level of privileges or not? The answer to this question will change every so often. Someday your child will seem very responsible and talented. Someday it will feel they are useless and incompetent. But you must keep those questions in mind. Will your child be able to afford the rent of the big house they are living in? Are they capable enough to buy the expensive branded clothes you buy them so casually? If not, how will the future look like? How long will you keep giving these privileges? Ultimately, you will have to cut them off. Ultimately, you will have to make them independent, right? So why not start a little earlier? Why not start today? This brings us to the second point. You must, from the beginning, create a balance of responsibility versus privileges in the house. Responsibilities in childhood mostly include schoolwork and house chores. Some other responsibilities could be to remain healthy, maintain decorum in the house, even being respectful to parents, etc. You need to make privileges somewhat conditional on these responsibilities. Essentially, give them a taste of adult life, which is, if you don't work, you don't get the car. Third, ask another question to yourself. Are you giving them resources for their growth or for their pleasure? If you're spending money on your child's music classes, sports classes, books, etc., it's very different from spending money on their toys, gadgets, clothes, birthday parties. Basically, whatever you're spending on them, is it being used by the child to just have more fun, or is it being used to try out a new skill or to become better at something, to explore talents, to start a new project, etc.? The problem would begin when you start spending excessively on their fun without proportionately spending on their talents and growth. So make sure you're investing proportionately in their joys and their talents. Fourth, are you making them grateful towards what you're giving them? And then in future the children will love me. Bad news. It won't happen like that. They will most likely take everything for granted. More often than not, you'll just find them complaining about the things they didn't get. So it's your job to make them realize the value of what you're giving them. It's your job to make them thankful for it. It's your job to tell them that millions and billions of people probably don't have the same privileges. They must realize the value of everything you're giving them for free. Like, why spend so much money and time on them only to be hated later? You give them everything and they grow up resenting you and not talking to you? What's the point of it all? Who did you do it for? So gratitude must be taught to them explicitly. And first step there would be to show gratitude to your own parents consistently. Fifth, you must make your child experience no from time to time. They must learn to deal with it. Of course, don't do it arbitrarily. Say no only when you have good reasons to say no, but do say it when needed. The main thing here is to learn to not be afraid of the child's anger or tantrums. In fact, if they show tantrums or anger, then you'll have to become even more strict in saying no. Your goal is to make sure that they accept your no with respect. And your objective is to teach them that their anger and tantrums will never turn a no into a yes. If you get scared and say yes to avoid fighting with them, you're only making them stronger. This is basic operant conditioning. By letting their anger win, you're reinforcing their bad behavior. In fact, if they show bad behavior, you need to not only stand your ground and stay firm, but you can even go on to cut additional privileges. Say no to something else as well, just as a lesson to them. As a parent, you must strive to have the authority to say no and still be respected. Finally, follow the cliche because it's very true. Your time is the best gift. Children need your time, your love, your care. That's really the biggest gift. Pamper them with your time whenever you can, not with things. If you really want them to love you all your life, give them good memories with you, not just stuff which anyone can buy them. So these are my premises, and I repeat the conclusion: don't pamper your child too much. That's it.
Very true. Parenting style change everything. Today, children think that, just ask and it's your right to have. That's how most people grew up. And if they find themselves in a corporate world, they cannot cope. Your boss is going to say no to many things. Even the work that you have done that you think is fantastic is going to say it has to be redone. And once they begin to see an expression of anger, even on your face without saying a word, you're done. Any good company will find it to get rid of you. They're bad influence. Bad influence. Because your boss is flying at a very high altitude that the things you think is important at 5,000 feet is probably at 25,000 feet. And his own boss at 50,000 feet. They don't see it as important. And just because you spend time on it, you think he doesn't like you and begin to show a behavior. You're done. Done. And today, you can't hire many young people because of behavior. You really cannot hire people. But this expectation thing is, as a consultant, they'll send people to me to interview. Sometimes I return back, I can't recommend any. Because the behavior, People don't even understand that there's no right. That all things are privileges. In my own world, there's no right. Did we pay any money or do something special that woke up this morning? So is that a right or a privilege? So if your waking up is a privilege, how do you then, is that not the Lord telling you that you will run your days privilege? Everything is a privilege to me. Because in that mode, you'll be more appreciative. This right thing doesn't make people to appreciate. If you complain life is too hard, for everything I hold, I like to find whether there's a precedence ordained. I've shown you that a day is probably 12, 13 hours of daylight and 12 of darkness, right? So you can't complain that there is darkness. There will be. It is you that must navigate yourself where there is light. That's what in a day. When a child is born, does the child come smiling, or does it come with stress and crying, both the mother and the child? Stress. The child will have to fight a battle to come out, right? Why are you complaining that you are struggling from your day one? That's what you did. That's what you did from day one. So that's what you did. That's why you came out. Otherwise, you'd be dead. So you cannot complain that you are struggling. You will just learn how to rest and relax because you have to struggle. Because that's how you were born. Okay? Now, technology is changing many things. I used to give career talk, but I've stopped. This is about 2014. I stopped because it wasn't working. I don't want to mislead anyone. Telling you go and study something that is job. No. It's wrong. No. Study what makes you happy. Study something that is inside you. Because you can't go through 4 years, 5 years studying something that you're not excited about. And somebody said there's a job, and then you come and there's no job, then it's double jeopardy. Yeah. Because there's no job, so you force yourself. You can't feel that thing. When you're talking about it, you don't feel like you're in the moon. You don't feel excited. You don't feel happy. The motivation is that there's a job, but I'm telling you there's no job. And then you come out, then you are angry. You are hungry. You can't actually point at what makes you hungry, but you're just hungry. Because you feel like you've lost everything. Parents need to be careful what we tell our children. What they told us cannot exactly work anymore. So if you go to school today, whatever you are studying, make it fun. Learn about the process to uncover unknowns. And every course, every discipline have that. There'll be assignment, there'll be term paper, there'll be projects. Pay attention because they are teaching you how to find out about unknowns. That's a common denominator for any discipline. There's no discipline on earth today, on this earth today, that's given any banker of any job. No. That'll be lying to you. No discipline. No. If you are aware of what is going on, what will make you earn or have the capacity are your talents, your sense of creativity. You are not going to be hired because of memory. The school system is designed to reward memory. You take a course, you read a book, you write exams. If you're able to give back in the image of what is expected, that's an A, right? And then B, C, So, but I'm saying that that's not reward. That's a baseline. You need it, but that's not what will be used to decide being hired. That's just a baseline now. A baseline that you can be in the race to compete, having good grade. But it's not it's not the discriminator anymore. But why should I hire you for memory? Why? I don't get it. I mean, there are tools that will read a whole book to me if I want to enjoy somebody reading a book to me at no cost. You cannot read a whole book. from memory. There are books that will just be reading it, telling me. So why should I now hire you and pay you because without what you've done? It doesn't make sense anymore. It made sense when information was being hoarded, when you don't have the internet, when you don't have technology, some books somewhere. But now, go to Google Play Store, type anything, any subject you want, you have it. Go to YouTube, how to construct anything, you have it. So why should I still hire you and pay you for that? And that is what we still do in school, rewarding memory. It's obsolete and it's crap. Can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. But I can hire you because you possess a very unique way of expressing things. The things you know, there's a way you can express it and you can influence many people for me. I want you in that organization because any idea that I want to get out, if we get it to you, you have a way to communicate it to the audience and then they can do what we need them to do. I will hire you because you can come back and ask me questions that is out of the ordinary. You're trying to be creative. I will hire you because if there's any crisis, once you are there, you will this calmness around everybody. You don't panic. You just calmly take everybody out of that situation. I will hire you. I was hired as a consultant with Sterling. It was supposed to be for 4 months. Then it got to 2 years. The VP said, Dr. Wasil, one of the reasons why I told the chairman you have to be around is that when there's crisis, you will just calmly, if nobody even understand you're doing anything, but you just calmly be working it and then you work it out. And we don't have that. Whenever they say something like that to me, I get home, I'll tell my kids. I will hire you for your behavior and attitude. Your cognitive is a baseline. Nobody had on that today. Google, Apple, they don't even need graduate. They don't need degree anymore. They have their own university. They've broken down their jobs to task. You get certified and detached. They're not hiring graduates. Because universities are just behind. I'm talking of the world we are in now. You can't stop it. So now they've set up their own certification. Even McDonald's have his own university. McDonald's University. Who are your teachers? The employees. You want to learn how to make burger? They teach you how to make burger. That is the way the world is going. No company hire regular staff anymore. No, because companies cannot even predict their existence in the next 3 to 4, 5 years. Because things are changing. So now the hiring options are contracting. You see banks, internship. It's hiring. You're going to do the job. The market is filled, it's oversaturated, there's overcrowding. So there's no degree that's so unique. The uniqueness in any degree is you. There's no degree that is unique. The uniqueness in every degree is you. Your behavior and attitude first. If I don't like that, I don't even want to know you further. I don't care whether you make 5.0 or 5.0. Behavior and attitude is the first thing you have to put in the front today's world. Because the market is saturated. I can get many first class as I want. So why should I pick you? Because I'm also, the knowledge you claim to have is obsolete. If I bring any first class from the academics to the industry today, you can't do anything. Everything will be new to you. So what you have been rewarded is memory. When he came to me, I said, I don't like to speak publicly. But because Prof asked me, that the things I see, if I say it in a forum where people don't know me, they will think he doesn't like us, he hates us. Because if I'm going to speak, I'm going to speak to you what I see, what I experience. If it makes you happy or sad, then that's your choice. It's not me. You made that choice. That's not me. But if you need help, I can help you. But the choice, I can't take that from you. Play the next. Okay, let's look at these slides. More of tomorrow's work will require less human hands. I have over 50 10-minute video clips of new technology, not promising, that's been done. Used Canada, US, UK, that's already being used. We don't have time for all those. I just selected some. But the bottom line is that the process of work will be requiring less of human hands. There will still be jobs for human beings, but it will not be in the routine operation work. It will be in creativity. Anything routine, cognitive, is going to go into machine's hand. Even in the oil industry, Chevron and Google, they just signed a deal. In the oil industry, it could take, when we started work, 1994, you could take 6 months to a year to plan one well. One well could take 6 months to a year. Everybody would check it, look at it. Then workstation came 9 months, 6 months, 4 months, 3 months. Chevron can do 200 wells in a day because they partner with Google. And all those seismic you interpret, they don't care what you call them, or just tell us this fishy, tell us this fishy, tell us this fishy. They program it. Within hours, it will interpret everything and come with volumes. What we do for 3 years, they can do it in a week now. Yeah, they're doing it. That's technology. So, if all your effort is on the cognitive mechanical domain, you're going to be pushed out of production. You will be pushed out. You will not be needed. Because machine learning, artificial intelligence is taking over all those things. So we need to start going to more creative and expressing a very exemplary behavioral pattern in doing whatever we need to do. That is the discriminator. That is the discriminator. Okay? Play the next two video clips. Now, can you pause this? Pause it. This is a new technology. You must have all seen this. But basically, you'll be able to control devices with your hand, not iPhone, no nothing in between you. Because they are now coming with technology that if you hold it, it will immediately register your blood and frequency. And then you leave it, then you can use your hand to control it. Take picture with it, ask it to come down, ask it to move because it has registered. Once you stop it and you pick it at that spot, it will quickly read you, identify you, and then you can control it. So go ahead, play it. Well, her point was working before. Oh, that was muted. Okay.
Within seconds, I can get the spark in the air. Now, it's flying, but I need to control it. I want to angle it around to get just the right shot that I want. So to do that, to take off, I hold the spark in my hand, and I press the power button twice. Spark starts looking for a pilot, and now that it recognizes me, it will automatically take off from my hand.
Now you recognize it.
Within seconds, I can get the spark in the air. Now, it's flying, but I need to control it. I want to angle it around to get just the right shot that I want. So to do that, we designed an interface using the simplest control interface that we could think of. And it's not your smartphone. Take a look. Just using my palm, I can move spark left, I can move it right, I I can use it up and down. I can push it away from me. And I can pull it towards me. It's that simple to control, and it truly feels like magic. Now, within this range, I've got about 3 feet between me and the spark. But that doesn't show the epic perspective that drones are known for. So in order to get that perspective, I'm going to tell Spark to fly a little bit further away from me, and I'll do that by waving. Just like that, Spark flies about 10 feet away from me and keeps me centered in the middle of the shot. It's fantastic. So I still want to be able to control my shot. This is maybe not the best background. I want to get those chandeliers captured behind me. So I'm just going to move. And Spark is actively tracking me as I move around so that I can choose the right scenery behind me. All right, this is the shot I want. And I'm going to take a picture just by doing this. Just like that, I've taken a picture. From takeoff to taking a picture, it's seconds. Now, I can still bring it back and land just by waving. This is using gesture control from start to finish to control the Spark's flight. And I'll land it just on my palm.
Because once you put it on, and you set it to your eyes and you put it on, it immediately recognizes you and to follow you. If it puts up, another person picked it and it takes your eyes, it will follow you. To create wealth, you have to be aware of what is going on and know how you navigate. If you are not part of production of goods and services, you can't create any wealth. If you are not part of the chain of production of goods and services, you can't create wealth. It's simple. You can't create wealth. So you need to understand what is the definition of production of goods and services today. Then you can re-engineer your thinking to see how you can fit in. That's why I'm showing all this. Now, my daughter, my third child, she's in Babcock. She's learning English. And, I said, Barry, you need to think of having your own business once you finish, In West African countries, you have just 3 or 4 countries that are English speaking. The rest are French speaking. So there's market. That you could set up a business that you could become an interpreter in the market for many people. You could help companies from here, penetrate into those terrains and things like that. So I said, so you didn't have to learn French. So she was actually on campus for 6 weeks learning French. And I always research to keep up with what is latest, because I can't tell you something that is already obsolete. I have to tell you what the world is going to. Then 2 weeks after that, I stumbled on the video clips, and it's amazing. Have you heard of holographic projection? You have. Where you can create a mixed reality image, but it's just light. It's just light playing and delivering messages. It's not something like physically held, but it's going to give that physical impression. And learning language now is becoming obsolete. Because you have a technology now that can allow you, that can create exact image of me on the stage. And if I'm speaking English and I want to present to Chinese, whatever, it will render the same thing. Let's look at the last clip. Yeah.
Now, it's a pleasure to be here in Las Vegas to present to you. Now, I get invited to do keynotes across the globe. And while it's easy for me to be here in Las Vegas, it isn't always easy for me to travel across the world. And even when I do, I can't always speak the local language. Well, what if neither language nor distance mattered for me to deliver a fantastic keynote? What if technology could help me be anywhere I needed to be and speak any language I wanted? Well, it can. We are bringing together the power of mixed reality and Azure AI services to create a truly game-changing experience. What you're about to see is an exact hologram of me wearing the same outfit that we recently captured at a mixed reality studio. And I don't speak Japanese, but what if I wanted to deliver my keynote in Japanese? Using Azure AI technology, I can translate my English into Japanese and train it to sound exactly like me. The same voice tones, those same inflections. Now we've brought this together, my hologram and Azure AI.
Is that thing charging? Where's the cable? Okay, you're charging it. I think it's device. Charge it. Plug that one to charge. Because they need to seal this in full.
In the room, a hologram and Azure AI to show you what's possible. So first, I'm going to put on my HoloLens 2 here, and then we'll flip in the room to the special camera, so you can see flip. I'm going to put on my HoloLens and using it to deliver for my keynote. And train it to sound exactly like me. The same voice tones, those same inflections. Now we've brought this together, my hologram and Azure AI, to show you what's possible. So first, I'm going to put on my HoloLens 2 here, and then we'll flip in the room to the special camera so you can see exactly what I'm seeing. Let's get started. First, let me introduce you to Mini-Me. There she is, my perfect holograph. And thanks to the power of HoloLens 2, she just floats right with me. I'm literally holding my hologram, so natural. Now she's a little small to do a keynote. So let's get her up so she can do full-size Japanese keynote. Render keynote.
驚くべきことがあります。私たちは最新の複合現実キャプチャ技術を使用し、私のホログラムを作成しています。実在の人物をホログラムとして見たことがあるかもしれませんが、私が実際に日本語を話しているのが新しいのです。私は日本語を話しませんが、私の声とホログラムは完璧な日本語で話しています。これはニューラルテキスト読み上げと呼ばれる最新の人工知能技術、いわゆるニューラル TTS を使用しています。私たちは自分の声の録音を使用し、私のように聞こえる私自身の個人的な音声署名を作成します。日本語からフランス語、ポルトガル語まで話せます。今、この技術は私たちが働き、遊び、生活する方法に関して、世界中の国境や障壁を取り除くことができると想像してみてください。 まさに SF が現実になるところです。
That's not something about to
As
happen.
you can see, this is mind-blowing technology. And what you just saw was my life-size hologram, my exact replica, rendered here in real time, speaking Japanese with my unique voice signature. To do this, we use mixed reality technology to create my hologram and render it here live. Then we use Azure speech-to-text capability and English transcription to get my speech. Then use Azure Translate to get the speech into Japanese. And finally, applied neural text-to-speech technology so it sounded exactly like me, just speaking Japanese. And the most amazing part? All of these technologies exist today. The future is here.
So it's not some research work in a laboratory. That is going. If you wish to create wealth, you need to understand the changes in production of goods and services on earth today. If that's not clear to you, you may be working so hard in vain. Because you have to be able to plug on to that line. The old model is not working because things have changed. So I don't have to hire somebody just because a person can speak Japanese, hire somebody to speak French, hire somebody to speak Spanish. It's gone. It's gone. I have the technology now that will stand like me on stage and present everything as me on stage. It's available now. It's not some future something. It's just projection of light in 7 different dimensions to create your image. And she explained the process to you. So that's the reality. So now I'm the advisor to my daughter. Yes, I'm an advisor. So I've been cracking my brain looking at how to still be able to fit her into that line. And I said, don't worry. I'm always going to be thinking, I'm going to create something. You fit into that line. I'm not asking her to come out of school and look for a job. Okay? If she gets a job in a corporate organization, big company, take. I've told her you are too big for a small company. That's it. You are too big for a small company. Instead of working for a small company, you might as well start your own business. If you have to work for a big company, or start your own business. Simple. And you don't have to be afraid of failure. You don't have to. You can just recognize it, but don't be afraid of it. Great things happen when you can step over failure. Okay? So you are not one thing now. That era of spending all your lifetime to become one thing is gone. Gone. You can't come back. And I'm not going to, because what I don't tell my own children, I can't say it to other people. If I have to say everything here, I've said to my own children. That era of sacrificing every other thing just to become one thing is poverty now. Because you will suffer identity crisis at 21, 23, when you can't even define who you are, when you can't even bring any income. You begin to doubt yourself. Because you've done everything they've asked you to do, right? But nothing is coming. Don't sacrifice everything for one thing. Now, that model may have worked. It's poverty model today. Instead, make time for 2 or 3 things in your life and cut off trash. Cut off trash. All men are equal before the Lord. But how come they are different before men? Because they choose to appropriate their 24 hours differently. It's a choice. Life to me is always a choice. They choose to appropriate their 24 hours differently. And that is your responsibility. You could pray to be guided. You could pray to be inspired to know what to do with your 24 hours, but you are responsible. You are 100% responsible for that choice. That is what I preach today. So I ask you to sacrifice everything just to become one title. You know what? Don't even call yourself a title. Don't call me a geologist. He knows I won't introduce myself as that. Geologist. I do other things. I have proficiency and expertise in oil and gas geology. I'm not going to say a geologist. Because to do that business, I have to learn negotiation, I have to learn mapping, I have to learn presentation, I have to learn so many things to get approval. It's not sufficient to just do technical work. I need to be able to influence them to believe me, to speak it. So, my job is to get the work done. So calling you a title is so narrow that every person should reject. It doesn't matter what you're studying anymore. You all get the same opportunity of term papers, of project, right? So that's a process of learning how to uncover unknowns. You find that in every discipline. Creativity is what will come out of it. That's what I can tell any young person today. I'm studying botany. I don't have a chance. I'm studying. All those things are scrap. There are many engineers without jobs. Don't even be surprised that you see people with BSc, masters in electrical, chemical, whatever engineering, coming to me to interview them for my wife's school. I'm saying, what is wrong here? You see people with BSc, economics, BSc, management, and that, wanting to come and teach in primary school. So all those discipline things we have created, it's unfortunate that the university systems all over the world, but more particularly in Nigeria, have not evolved. They haven't evolved. They haven't. And for my own children, it's not the university that made them. It's not. They made themselves because I made them themselves. Do whatever you have to do in the school because it's a process, just do it. But after you have done that, you have to do my own. This is what you have to do for me. That's the way I do what I have to do in the school, get your grades. When you are done with that, I got this for you to do, and on weekend you're going to review for me. They didn't like it, but now, they're saying, Dad, you've given us the best. My first child is a daughter. She worked with St. Nicholas. She's been writing exams to go to the US. She's going to get her license. School didn't do that for her. I traveled with her, took her to MD Anderson Hospital, and I said, spend 4 days here. Just look at what is going on. And that just tore her mind, her thinking. Because you have to see something to get you excited. Her thesis, we read it together. Even when it was endorsed in the school, I said, you can't submit this. Send it to this person in the US. She frowned her face. Well, good, frown, but you do the right thing. She sent it to somebody, MD Anderson. That one now went through it and corrected everything. I said, you see, you have to do the correction. Why am I saying this? Whatever I'm saying to you, I've applied to myself, to my children, to those around me. You have to understand the reality of the process of production of goods and services. Then you can figure out how you can plug in. If you don't, you will be working hard, but for nothing. That's why I'm showing all these clips to see what things are. Not just that we are speaking, we're also saying it. These are not something coming. These are things that already is here, is happening. So pay attention to that. Any discipline you study, if you study Yoruba here now, people laugh at you, right? In 2014, this university denied me admission for BSc Yoruba. Because I took form and I wanted to enroll for a degree in Yoruba. And they said, I can't because I didn't do Yoruba in secondary school. And I said, okay, the Yoruba I'm speaking, is your own Yoruba as deep? No, I said, let's change to Yoruba because when I travel to US, I give lectures on Yoruba, the culture, the tradition, and I see people sitting down in hall listening to me. Because I picked that from my grandfather, and I felt, okay, I could just get a degree and come and lecture. I'm an intellectual entrepreneur. I mean, they want it, they ask me questions, and I understand it. But they say, no, I can't do it. And I just smile at the system that we have. The system that doesn't allow people to retrain. My first boss had his first degree in mathematics. Jim Blevins, an example. First degree in mathematics. After doing some internship with oil company, he felt he loved geology, right? He went back for his master's and did master's in geology. It cannot happen here. You see, because the system does not allow you to retrain. So you are at a greater risk. That's my point. You are at a greater risk because the system does not allow you. Look, what does a 17-year-old know about life? What does an 18-year-old know? That's when you decide you want to do this. What do you really know about life? Your first vintage point of life may be at 21. That's when you'll have seen things and coming to terms with what you are good at. The system does not allow you to retrain. I brought all the Yoruba books that I have read. I brought it to this guy. I said, see, okay, test me. Let me read. This and that. I said, you're a doctor. I said, so what does it matter if I'm a doctor? Of what? Is it in Yoruba? I want to learn because I knew what I could establish with it. I could get it, go to Houston, register a business. And do you know you have over 80,000 to 100,000 Nigerians, mostly from Southwest, that are living in Houston. Imagine if I now go and establish classic Yoruba in Houston, just put some business. And I'm going to homes and I'm speaking it and they're bringing it. I'm teaching them the culture. Imagine the prosperity that I will create. Do you see that? There is a town in South Carolina called Oyotunji. You know it? Oyotunji. It's Oyotunji. I mean, it's all Yoruba. Why would the US government, about 2 years ago, they started a program. The advert will come out around January, February. Why would they have a special program for Yoruba graduates here? Taking them to US and giving them status to teach. Why? Because they are seeing what we can see. In the next 10 to 12 to 15 years, the language is going to become a military language. It's going to become signal. The military have signal. Nobody will be able to speak it anymore. So they will post their military person here who will be speaking and you will not be aware. There are 4 universities in the US right now that give degree in Yoruba. 4. I mean, one graduation, it was challenging. They all dress, these Americans, they all dress completely in Yoruba and they were rendering poems and things in Yoruba. I mean, this is happening. So you will now have to travel to America to go and get a degree in Yoruba. No, it's going to happen. Huh? Huh? Uh-huh. It's already happening. I do public talks. Sometimes when I'm called and it's a cultural thing, I won't speak one English. Not one. I'll be rendering deep Yoruba. And I'll see people coming to, like I'm some super. I just say, wow. So this can make me super. So the system you have does not give you the chance to repent. It doesn't give you. And if you don't repent, there's no forgiveness. It says you are this, but please, like I'm not fighting government. I've told you, government doesn't have to know anything. Government can be yam head. It's government. It's like that on earth. We don't fight. I address you as individuals. You need to sit down and begin to see how you're going to recalibrate yourself and begin to find out who you are. What are you endowed with? Not the image that society, I'm a graduate, I don't even want to hear that language. If you want things from me, the moment you say she's a graduate, like, I'm done with you. I'm done. What does that mean? Does that mean that you have a passport to go to heaven? You're a graduate, Does it mean that you have been sanctified to go to heaven? So don't call yourself graduate, whatever name. Don't be part. Well, that thing is an illusion, and it has a way to destroy your mindset, to make you look down on other people, to think that you are superior. You are not. The person that brings income is the person that is superior. How many of you listen to Ogunde? I'm sure nobody knows Ogunde. You do? You know Ogunde? You do? Baba wá fún wa lọ́mọ yẹn ká fi ṣaya. Baba búra pòun ò lè fọmọ òun foníjó. Baba búra pòun ò lè fọmọ òun falágbe. Àná mi ò tí ń bá ṣe ọ́ máa bẹ̀ o. Tó mówó délé o. Tó mówó délé o ni bàbá máa yìn bó tilẹ̀ ṣalágbe. Tó mówó délé o ni bàbá máa yìn bó tilẹ̀ ṣalágbe o. So I'm a graduate. Go and make cloth of it now and wear it and go around the street. It has worked. Okay? It has worked in an era. But like all things, there's an expiration date. You should still go to school, but not just to have a certificate. To use school an opportunity to discover yourself. To learn how to make friends. To learn how to coexist even with people that have a 360-degree view of your viewpoints. University is called Universal City. Universal City, where all kind of things will be there. Imagine living in Awolowo Hall for 4 years and you are not killed. It means you have good tolerance. Because when I lived there, okay, we're like up to 20 in a room. Oh. I'm not kidding. Like 20 in a room. In fact, in my 200 level, there was one guy that smoked Igbo. He smoked Igbo. I don't have a bed space, so I'm going to sleep under the table. When this guy comes like this, I'll just have to pack my things quietly and walk out. So learning to survive in a diverse environment is part of why we are in the university. But the moment we disagree here in Nigeria, it's like we are fighting. The moment our views are different, then it's fight. And I can't understand why. Why should that be? All the more it's an opportunity. I have used every conflict for friendship. The fact that somebody have conflict with you means that the person actually also know what he wants in life. Right? Good. So I will now have to design an engagement strategy to influence the person. If the guy loves to play soccer, and I really want to influence him, Olumide, when are you going to play your games? I'm playing 4 p.m. I'm going to be there. I'll be in the front. I'll be sharing him up. Do you think if I make Olumide happy, do you think he may reconsider his position on me? I think so. I think so. Because if we are happy, we cause good things to happen. Don't know so? If we are angry, good things may not happen. You will see that, okay, that thing you mentioned yesterday, I wasn't at my best point. Come in the evening, let's have dinner and talk about it. And what is not possible, Just happen. But here, the moment we disagree, we are fighting. And I can't understand that type of world. I don't. Because then the opportunity to create prosperity and wealth will be cut short gradually. But the more people you interface with and they can buy into your idea, the greater the chance of you succeeding. If you begin to cut that off, where would that lead you? Let's look at, Israel. Moses made water from rocks. Hit the rock, water came out, right? They've improved on that now. Yes, Israel made water from air by taking 2 molecules of hydrogen and oxygen. Show it.
We recycle almost 90% of our wastewater. The next country with less than 20% is Spain. You can see how Israel, what it does for water, what it does for the environment. So when you take these two things, agriculture and water, and the other technologies that we apply in both, we can change the world. We are. I just heard about an African woman in Africa has to walk 8 hours a day to give water to her children. 4 hours one way to a well, 4 hours back. And a young Israeli company brought in this technology that improves on Moses. Remember Moses? He brought water from a rock. They bring water from thin air. They bring water to Africa, to millions of people in Africa. Israeli technology. And just recently in India, that's my friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, great friend. I'm showing him cherry tomatoes. This is in Gujarat, India. This is Israeli technology. And what I heard there was fantastic. Farmers came from the region. There's an experimental farm there and a place where Israel gives technology know-how to Indian farmers. 65% of India's population are farmers. And one farmer after the other gets up and says, because of Israeli technology, I've increased my crop yields and my income 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Israel is changing the world in India, in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, everywhere.
They are making it good. It's not just believing, they are experimenting and they are creating water. 2 molecules of oxygen or hydrogen, 1 oxygen, create water. Precision irrigation, we have drones, all these things. Let's move on to the slide. Okay, so we talk about this. The old era, go to school, make good grade, come out, get a job, start a family, stay in a company for so many years, retire, collect pension, right? It's gone. It's gone. It's not happening anymore. It's not going to happen. Don't even dream about it. It's not going to happen. Companies today now, you have in 2004, President Obasanjo brought into effect Reform Pension Act. So as you're working, your employer is supposed to be matching a contribution for you. And you have many pension managers now. That's what I'm enjoying. My retirement money is not in Exxon. It's with Stanbic IBTC. So if Exxon pack up and go tomorrow, it's none of my business. Every month I get my pension, I get an alert. And I will just be enjoying myself and do whatever I want to do. So right now you have to learn about investment. Young people think the goal of money is to spend. I traveled with my last born, soon, and I see the opportunity to teach him about investment. I said, money does not stay in the middle. Money doesn't stay in the middle, no. Money either stay with you or stay with this person. It doesn't hang in the middle. Money does not stay in the middle. If the money is with you, then people have designed several ways without using gun, not using gun, but they've designed other ways to work on your propensities such that you will willfully and joyfully release the money. That's how money works. If money is with you, then you must train yourself to invest it and send it on errand. Yeah, you have to invest it and send that money on errand. If money is just with you, remember there are those that their job to through different adverts. Bring out another phone, call it Galaxy 2000, change something. The moment I can work on you such that you begin to feel bad about holding the old version, you begin to feel bad. In fact, you begin to feel embarrassed, right? You begin to feel embarrassed that you don't want to show it outside because it's all tactics to take the money from you. Money doesn't stay in the middle. It stays with one person at a time. When money is in your hand, arrest it, invest it, save it, use it on errand. And it must leave you, make sure there's a value. Whatever you're going to get in return will also help you to increase your own wealth. That's what they call psychologists. They're basically the key driver for different marketing strategy. You will see sometimes, if I want to make Olumide get excited, I'm pointing at you because I've seen you so. If I want him to get excited about something in my car that he hasn't seen before, right? If I just say, Olumide, look at this thing. If I bring it out immediately, and say, well, it looks like something I've seen before. But here's what I can do to make him start looking forward to it. I shut my car. We came to the conference center. I really forgot something in the car. It's so beautiful that I need you to say it. But we have to wait. Let's finish this program. You need to say it. You see, his mind will not be in that program. His mind will be on that thing that I want him to see. In fact, he will have constructed a beautiful image and a lot of things, right? So eventually when I show him, he will like it. They call it persuasion. Persuasion. There's a whole book on it. On different marketing strategy to make people like your product. There's a whole book on it. People are paid to keep on researching about human nature, gather data, all this Facebook, it's all public data. Some people download it, that's their job. They will analyze it, that's why you'll be getting things you didn't ask for. They will just be posting it to you because a machine is mapping your interest. You go to YouTube, you type on something, your interest is being mapped. So when you go next time, something similar will be brought to you. If you buy a book on Amazon, it says other books, but they have your history. So the big data is there. And I will tell many young people, be careful of what you say or open in social media. The United States Embassy, in the last 2 years, have started to ask for people's social media. Yes, if you apply, if you fill the DS-160 form, you will see it there. And they will ask for your password, everything. Because what you do is also part of you. There was a case of a man that had these video clips people circulate. He had it on his phone. It was kind of an abuse on women. And through immigration, Lord knows what happened. He was asked to open his phone, and they saw that. He was arrested. Be careful of things you say because it's a record. It's public data. How many of you heard of a software called HireVue? H-I-R-E-H-U-E. Write it down, please. H-I-R-E-H-U-E. That is the latest. 45% of American companies are using it now. It's an HR application. It runs interview. In fact, I've had 2 of my candidates that applied to Halliburton last year. They were interviewed by robots. They failed. I trained them because it was new to them, and they brought to my attention like 2 days. And I said, have you heard of this? They said, that's what they gave them. I said, okay, this is what's going to happen. But you see, mentally, they've not been prepared for such. So after the interview, I was asking, how did it go? Tell me exactly what you did. The guy said, I just saw myself repeating the same answer, and the robot was blinking at me, and then my internet connection wasn't good, I said, next time, go and check into Sheraton. Go and check into an hotel where you know that their internet is what? Because, you see, you can't just stay here like if now you'll be looking for signal. Looking here. We're talking opportunity that doesn't come. It comes to you. You are go and find a place that you know that their internet is not this, it's Wi-Fi. Strong connection. Because if the machine is asking you a question and saying, pardon, the interpretation is different. Your listening skill is poor. That's what will be recorded for you. Yes, every time you say pardon, it means you cannot listen. You can hear, but you can't listen. Listening is not hearing, and talking is not speaking. Talking is a vocal discharge. When you speak, there's a purpose and benefit and an outcome. That's speaking. So most time we just talk. Yeah. We just talk. When you speak, there's a purpose, there's a benefit, and there's an outcome. That's how you can weigh whether you are speaking well. You can see the impact. If you're just talking, we'll just be talking. Nothing is expected because just a vocal acoustic discharge. Okay? So today, all those era is gone. So parents should stop telling their kids, get this grade, get a job. I have PhDs, 2, in fact 3 now, in production geoscience, from Imperial, from Harvard, and from a university that can't still find job. They can't. And I'm telling my own children that if you really wish to have a PhD, get it done by 26, 27. You don't need it, but if you think you need it,